bring this meeting to order. The Village of Villa Park Board of Trustees meeting, July 24th, 2023. Clerk Konecki, please call the roll.
Trustee Alfano.
Here.
Trustee Cordova. Trustee Corkery. Trustee Kozar.
Here.
Trustee Kumar. Here. Trustee Patrick.
Here.
President Kazone.
Here. And we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together this evening. May we have meaningful discussions that will help us to assist our village in these trying times. Help us to make the decisions that will affect the staff, directors, and residents of Villa Park. Guide us through the challenges we face, and may we approach each other with respect and kindness as one group. In your name, amen. Typically, we'll have public comments now on agenda items. However, we do have a couple of proclamations, a couple presentations that I'd like to move up if it's okay with the board, so that we can go through and get everybody out of here. So our first presentation is a presentation of winning entries from the July 4th parade by Standard Equipment and Safariland, who were our two big sponsors of the parade. Andrew Harline.
I'm going to go down into the audience for this and thanks. All right, so if I could have Chris and Jerry and join me up here for the presentations. So this is welcome to our Villa Park's 4th of July parade ceremony. Despite the heat, we had an incredible parade this year, filled with outstanding displays and patriotism, creativity. I still will always remember the whatever it was, 40-foot wide curling rock for a number of years. So one of the things we did was to have these our bigger sponsors come to present the awards in the 4 different categories, and then I will hand the mic over here really quickly to Chris Troiola. He'll do the first 2. He's with Safariland. So.
How you doing? Again, my name is Chris Troiola from Safariland. I get the privilege of presenting 2 awards. The first one will be for most patriotic. The following 3 winners showcase the greatest level of symbolism of America in the 4th of July.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to. I left out an important part.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying in a hurry to get things done, and I left out one of the most important parts. J.B. Blankshane, who is the commander at the Villa Post, the VFW. Villa Park Post 2081, and the parade is hosted by and run by the VFW, and so I wanted to let JB have a couple words about the parade before we get started. Sorry about that, Chris. We obviously didn't rehearse this.
Obviously, we didn't. I just want to say that thanks for everybody that came for the parade. It was probably one of the best parades that I've seen in the 15 years that we've had it. We're expanding it. People may not know, but we did this for about 8 months prior to this. We did a lot of between the village and the VFW post, put a lot of time and effort to it, and it really showed this year. And I want to thank everybody in the community for their support.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything. It was a great committee that we put together this year, and I thought that it was a tremendous amount of effort for everyone. Everyone who was part of the event, and I really liked working with all of you, and I thought it was a tremendous experience. So if we could go, let's see, we've got. There we go. 3, 2, so thirds on top.
Okay, so we're going to start with our first category again, which is the most patriotic. The following 3 winners showcase the greatest level of symbolism of America and 4th of July. So our 3rd place winner is Kathy Kumi. Is she here? She's here. Congratulations.
you want to do a little bit more? And then you get your award too. I don't think you said it yet. If you guys want to just scooch in for a quick photo too.
Maybe I need.
Yeah. You want to swing around?
On the other side, so you can. Maybe one of them.
Perfect. Thank you. Congratulations.
Okay, so our second place winner is Villa Park Pack 122, Beth Bergen. Is she here? She'll accept the award. Come on up.
My name correctly.
Come on up. I didn't plan anything. That's okay. All right, come on. I'm getting it.
Ready? Perfect. Thank you. All right.
Okay, our first place winner is Great Lakes Naval Academy. It appears unfortunately they couldn't make it here tonight, but they are first place winner, Great Lakes Naval Academy. So let's give them a hand.
Yeah, they're in 3-2.
Okay, our next category is Best Musical Performance. The following three winners gave the Best Musical Performance. So our third place winner is Northwest Suburban Band. It appears they're not in attendance here tonight, so let's give them a hand. Okay, our second place winner is Morales Mariachi Band. I think they are present, obviously. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, I missed them. Because I'm in the parade, right? I didn't see any of them. We were in the front.
Yeah.
Mariachi.
Okay, now for our first place. Our first place winner is Willowbrook Marching Band Warriors. Are they here? Someone accept the award from us? Okay. Alan Rendeck, the board, he'll accept it. Thank you so much.
I'm Jerry Donlin, president of Standard Equipment Company. We moved to town about 3 years ago. It's a wonderful town. We were in Chicago forever, and this has been really open arms here. We really enjoy it. Employ a few people that live in town. For your knowledge, we sell street sweepers and sewer cleaners. Public Works, the unsung heroes of the municipalities. So, our third category is the best use of theme. These themes showcase the best use of parade theme reflections. The third place winner is the Old Classic Bicycle Club, Tim Jonas. The second place winner is the Medina Car Unit, Tom Tavello. I grew up in Villa Park, so congratulations.
Sorry, can you tip your sticker up a little bit right there? Great, thank you.
The first place winner is St. Paul Lutheran Church, Pastor Zach Wagner.
You did it? Perfect. Thank you.
The fourth and final category is the community choice. These winners were selected based on an online poll conducted by residents. Third place winner is the Willowbrook Marching Band. Alan Rendeck. Second place winner is the Windy City Curling Team. And the first place winner is the Morales Mariachi Band. Members of the band?
Yeah, yes, thank you. Move to the left. We go to the right. Great, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Tom, Jerry, and Chris. Jerry and Chris, thank you again to the members of the committee, JB, and of course Karen over at the VFW, all the work that Khalid did to help bring in some of these acts, the village staff, public safety, public works, parks did a great job. Donnie and the staff here with public communications, and I know I'm leaving out the Chamber of Commerce, Tri-Town Y, and our own video production committee, and the lead announcer for the videotape, Kevin Patrick, Al Stash, that group, and of course everyone who participated, and thank you all for being here to accept your awards, and let's see if we can grow it even bigger next year. Thank you.
This there's a typo.
We get the Maharaj.
It's not substantive, but it's in the so if you'll let me announce it, and then I vote for it, and then just speak to it.
Okay, congratulations to all those winners. Everybody was excellent. It was a great parade this year. I think everybody enjoyed it. So thank you to all, and thank you to the residents that voted on the President's Choice Award. Okay, we'll move to item 6B, is a presentation from Upland Design on the OSLAD grant application. Manager Hartline? Would you like to introduce him?
Sure. With us tonight, we have Michelle Kelly with Upland Design. We've already given permission for them to draft the agreement or draft the application. Tonight, we're going to have a resolution that would allow us to obligate the match money, something that the OSLAD group looks forward to. But tonight, Ms. Kelly and the group at Upland Design are going to have a presentation. A lot of this came out of the public meeting last Monday night, the 17th, at Iowa Community Center, and I'll let you take it away.
Thank you. Can you hear okay?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, thanks so much. I'm Michelle Kelly. I'm Principal Landscape Architect at Upland Design. And we're just going to go through a few things here. We're going to talk about the preliminary master plan, which is what the public saw on July 17th, last Monday. And then I'm going to go through the input that we got from the public. And then we'll go through the updated master plan, and I'll show you all the amenities that are proposed. Just stop me at any time if there's a question. All right, so this is the preliminary master plan, and you can see, let's see here. So full-size basketball court, and then you can see the ball field with some renovation, a polygon or icon shelter right here. So this would be like a metal frame shelter with a wood underside and picnic tables underneath it. A new playground over here. And then as you walk along the path, this is a senior patio area with a little pergola, some art, some beautiful plants planted, and then all connected with sidewalks as well as some benches and seating throughout. So this was the preliminary plan, and along with the plan, we had a survey. So a presentation was done to the for the public, and then we took the surveys back and tabulated them. So I'll show you all the results. We had counted around 50 people at the meeting. 27 of them filled out surveys. So some of them were families. So maybe one family might have had, did one survey. So their first question was, what are your top recreational amenities? They could pick 3. Of course, you want more than one in a park. And overall, our top was playgrounds, full basketball courts, and then baseball field renovation was 3rd. And then our other ones, which are a little bit lower, senior plaza came in next, and then connection to the Great Western Trail. At the very end, picnic shelter and a story walk. So other responses that you'll see later in just written comments included pickleball, splash pad, baseball turf field, and basketball written again. So those were a lot of the write-in comments. Then we gave everyone playground themes, and you can see the top theme was net structure here, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. They were each given a picture that went along with the sort of theme, and then this is the one that got the top votes. So it was really number 1, and so we'll be incorporating that into a final structure, those pieces. Also, we asked about independent pieces. So just along with the structural, there'll be some other standalone pieces. And again, on this one, there was 7 different choices, and our top choice was this number 6 here. And then the next 2 in line was this teeter-totter. It's on a spring. It allows kids to have some nice support, but also has a centerpiece where kids with less mobility can also sit, and then also these spinners. You can stand up, sit down, you can do them with a friend, so they're kind of fun spinners. So we're gonna try to fit those in as well, because they both got 10 votes, and where the number one got 17. Okay, and then this is other write-in comments, and we put them kind of in order so you could see. I think there was a concerted effort. There was a lot of pickleball people that came to the meeting and were vocal. So the top number of comments, standalone comments, was to build 4 pickleball courts instead of basketball. So trading it out. And then keeping the baseball field, which the baseball field is being kept, drainage for the field, adding a new pool or water park, and then parking at the grassy area along Euclid and Wildwood for another pickleball skate area. And the other top one here was have basketball in the park, which it is in the plan. So there was numerous other ones, some of them pretty easy to do, like adding shade and green space. Those will definitely be part of the project. So, all right. So then we went back to the office, and between last week and now, we updated the plan to try to take into account the comments that came in. So you can see basketball getting big votes stayed in. We managed to get in 2 pickleball courts, and the reason 4 doesn't fit is that we would lose the field. This is about the 200 line, right about here. So we don't want to infringe on more than that. So keeping the baseball field, that allows us to have the 2. We moved over the shelter a little bit. We still have the playground here. We're working on the actual final structure. I don't have that to show you tonight, just because it was such a quick turnaround. And then we have the senior area here, and then a connection with pathways over here to open lawn, and a story walk along this with some planting areas that have pollinator plants and some signage to go with that. All right, I'm going to highlight each of these pieces, but before I go there, does anyone have questions on the plan itself? Okay, all right, I'll keep going. All right, so this is about the shelter we're looking at, enough to have 2 to 4 picnic tables under it. So you can see a metal structure with a wood underneath, and that would be centered. And then some site furniture, seating, picnic tables, litter receptacles. And then the senior patio. You might be asking, what is a senior patio? So it really is an area that has some multi-use tables. You can see here, this it has a game table, but it also can just be a picnic area. We have some overhead trellises to walk under, some beautiful plantings, and then some sculpture. So it's really a nice outdoor area for seniors to be able to meet and get outside and not always do all programming inside. And this is the pergola, that adding a little bit of shade to the space. Then the full-size basketball court. This is what we think of as a high school-size basketball court. And 2 pickleball courts. And then, of course, you might be asking how much money. So part of the reasons that we see the pieces that we have is that they're what people chose, as well as bringing us to the 1.2 million. So we did very carefully adjusted the playground costs and looked at the concrete and everything to try to get to just that 1.2, which is what the board approved. You will notice that the baseball field is not in this scenario. And part of the reason is that if we put the baseball field in, it will be what we call as encumbered, meaning the state of Illinois expects you to keep it there pretty much for 20 to 25 years, and you could never put a building on it. That when you get an OSLED, even though you might not keep a baseball field on there, you are encumbering the land to always be open space with the state. So what we're talked with staff to do is they're going to actually make sure that the baseball field gets done, because it is a top choice, but we're not going to put it in the grant so that it's not encumbered. We'll actually draw a line around that area, just like we'll draw a line around the proposed building, and those will not get encumbered in the grant, so that you have flexibility to be able to put something else there in the future, or keep the ball field there forever. If some other land comes available, you'd really be able to put a pool there if you wanted. So that's kind of nice flexibility. Okay, and then I have detail on the costs, which I probably don't need to go through all the little detail, but if you want to know some detail, I have it. All right. that's the presentation. Questions?
So the way this is set up, the outdoor areas are free space that anybody can get into, correct?
The senior patio?
The senior patio.
Or anything.
Any of
Anything,
those,
yes.
yeah.
Anything
So those
is
are
open.
kind of amenities that are used and can be used by the public kind of in a free space on a first come, first
As long
served.
as the park is open, they're available.
Oh, wait, a vote. Okay, just
Yes.
making that clear as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's nice that you were able to get the pickleball courts in there. 'Cause we've
Yeah,
we've
we
heard a lot
we
about
shuffled
those.
around a lot to see if we could get them to fit.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was at the meeting and I wanted to thank you for listening to what the residents in attendance had to say, because I did hear the interest in pickleball and I did hear the concern about having the baseball field kind of locked in for 25 years. There was some concern and some discussion on that. So thank you, and thank you to Parks and Rec for listening to that too.
Nice.
I also wanted to say there are pickleball courts out, but then there's also rentable pickleball probably inside, because the courts that we're building inside the community center also can be converted partially to pickleball courts, so.
You could have a mini tournament,
Yeah,
some
you can
indoor,
have
some
an
outdoor.
Indoor-outdoor tournament is possible now with that addition.
Yeah, great idea. Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Well, thank you.
All right.
Appreciate, you did a great job, short turnaround.
All right, thank you. And we will have the playground in the future.
Okay. Okay, with that, we will go to public comments on agenda items. Clerk Konecki, anyone signed up?
No one signed up?
Okay, do we have anyone in the audience for agenda items? Okay. I do have a couple of emails that I received that people wanted read in. Maybe give me 2 seconds here. This one was sent to Clerk Konecki and myself, resident Bell Hopkins. This is regarding the cell tower. Our group of concerned citizens recently consulted with Attorney Robert Berg regarding the cell tower placement on Willowbrook School property. The variance on the north border of the cell tower is problematic and a public safety hazard, including falling ice in the winter, and there being no evidence in support of the claim that this tower would collapse upon itself. Furthermore, this does not only affect Willowbrook School, the tower placement will also affect the staff and students attending the Islamic Center and school, which is home to K through 12th grade students. It is our collective opinion that Attorney Berg be contacted immediately before taking any further action regarding the cell tower placement, and she gives his phone number. We ask that the cell tower referenced above be tabled or denied until our community request has been accommodated, satisfied. We have one from Priscilla Lopez. Just a second. Actually, one from Sherry Rice. I'm requesting the Village of Villa Park deny the special use permit of a cell tower on Willowbrook High School property. More time is needed to review all the information for public safety within our community and to make sure the petitioner is compliant with their application. I know many parents who do not support this and have already contacted attorneys. Please take time to listen to the community request reason for their opposition to this tower. This is Dina Weisner. Please deny the special use permit, or at least table it for now, to take the time needed to review all the information for public safety for the community. And also make sure the petitioner is compliant with their application. Cell towers emit very high levels of microwave radiation. Do you really want that next to people's homes and the school? We know that children's skulls are not as well formed and therefore more vulnerable to radiation than adults. This will impact their ability to learn and also make them more susceptible to brain cancer. Why is money more important than people's health? Please deny a special use permit for the sake of the community. And I believe there was one more. I'm sorry, there was one more, but I don't believe I have it right here. But it was also requesting us to deny the cell tower. Okay. Yeah, so no one up to speak. Okay, item number 4 is amendments to the agenda. Do we have any amendments from the board? Okay, seeing none. We'll go to item number 7, consent agenda. Item 7A is bill listing for the weeks of July 10th and 17th, 2023, in a total amount of $1,327,537.73. Item 7B is the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting and the Board of Trustee meetings from July 10th, 2023. And yeah, same thing. Okay, do we have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Corkery, do we have a second? Trustee Alfano. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Renecke, please.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kosar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, we will move on to item 10 is ordinances. Item 10A is an ordinance authorizing the execution of a non-exclusive public utility easement agreement between Chicago SMSA Limited Partnership, doing business as Verizon Wireless, and the Village of Villa Park, Illinois. Manager Harline.
The ordinance, if approved, would grant Verizon Wireless a permanent utility easement along the south property line of the Public Works facility located at 729 North Ardmore. Verizon wishes to bore and insert fiber optic cable and conduit to connect to a cellular tower on the site. This would improve the Verizon service in the area. The village staff proposes a price of $3,000 for non-exclusive access to this 8-foot by 237-foot easement at about $1.58 per square foot. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance. This came before the board, and they asked to have more information brought back. So we have taken a little bit more of a look. We also talked to Verizon, and Public Works Director Michael Guerra is here. If you want to ask additional questions, he's the one who worked directly with SMSA and on behalf of Verizon.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Trustee Corkery, do we have a second? Do we have a second for the ordinance? No one wants to bring this up? Can I second
It
it?
will fail. No, it will fail for a second.
Yeah.
You cannot second.
I can't, okay. Okay, we have no second on this.
So, does this mean it fails and it can't come back?
It doesn't
won't be
preclude it from coming back. So if there's no second on the motion, it will fail for lack of a second. It doesn't preclude it from coming back at a later time, but at this time, it would fail if there's no second to have a discussion and a vote on the matter.
So we could bring this up in executive session since it deals with village property.
No.
Tonight, though.
This can't be discussed in executive session. Because that was the initial claim to begin with, that it was held in executive session. We've never had an executive session discussion about this.
The sale price can be held in closed session.
It can be tonight?
It can be tonight if there's a motion and approved to go into closed session to discuss the price for the sale of municipal property.
Trustee Patrick.
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion that we move this agenda item 10A to executive session to discuss the price and for further discussion.
So just because we do have closed session on the agenda, if you could make that motion when we make the motion to go into closed session at the later time, because if you do it now, we'd automatically go into closed session right now.
To make the motion that we go into executive session at a later time to discuss the item 10A on tonight's agenda.
Okay, so I'll have the appropriate language when we get to that item on the agenda for you.
Okay.
Thank you. let's
it
wait
need to be-
until,
Yeah, we have to
let's
wait
wait
till-
until we get to
till
that
we take
item on
it.
the agenda. We have closed session toward the end, so I'll make sure that the motion that's made at that time will include this matter.
Okay. Move on to item 10B, is an ordinance authorizing a special use to allow for the installation and construction of a new wireless telecommunication tower and antenna in the RS 7.5 residential single dwelling district for the property located at 150 South Ardmore Avenue in the Village of Villa Park. Manager Harlan.
The petitioner, Tony Phillips of Kendall Communications, is seeking approval of a special use for a wireless telecommunications facility or new cell tower located at 1250 South Ardmore, which is Willowbrook High School. The property owner is DuPage High School School District 88. Staff recommends approval of the ordinance granting petition PZ 2302 for special use for a new wireless telecommunications facility located at 1250 South Ardmore, as depicted on Exhibit A with stated conditions. The minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission and a full memo is included in the packet.
Okay, thank you. Before we move this to a motion, I want to turn this over to Attorney Wolf to discuss one item in here.
Yeah, so prior to the board's consideration of this, I'd like to point out that there was a typographical error on page 2. In the enacting clause, it misidentified the municipality and the county. That has been corrected, so the ordinance, it's a non-substantive change, clearly a typographical error. So the ordinance that the board will consider tonight is a corrected ordinance.
Okay. Okay, so do you have a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Trustee Corkery, do we have a second?
I will second
Trustee
the
Kumar. Okay, questions or discussions? Okay. I was at, oh, I'm sorry, Trustee Kozar.
Is there anybody from District 88 here to talk about this and why they want a cell tower?
No.
Petitioner is here.
You're with District 88?
He's with the petitioner.
Or do you want the petitioner?
Yeah, sure.
No,
please.
I'm sorry. I'm confused.
The petitioner is also here. District 88 petitioner, Tony is also here.
Okay, so you're District 88?
88.
You're the petitioner. Got it. Just want to know who's who. That's all.
You want me to speak?
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah, please.
Sure. So the driver for the cell tower at Willowbrook High School is really primarily focused on the FirstNet, the service that the towers can provide to the first responders. It's our understanding that this FirstNet will allow instant communication with police, fire, as well as potentially school district officials getting access to those prioritized channels. When a major event or disaster, certain lines of communication are kind of log jammed. It's our understanding that this FirstNet system will allow those lines of communication to stay open, so we have our first responders being able to communicate with each other as well as the school district in the event of a response.
Trustee Kumar.
I understand the benefits to Willowbrook High School in terms of first response and quick response. I have to know what else is the benefit to the cell phone provider. I would like him to speak as well on his point of view on what they're going to provide, what this is going to do for our community, so on and so forth.
Could you stand up and give your name, please?
My name's Tony Phillips with Kendall Communications, representing TowerCo, AT&T, and the school district. Jason Woodward's here with the tower company. He can probably give you more of the details of the benefits and all that type of stuff. He's a little more versed in it, and he's been working with the school district as far as the benefits go. So if you allow Jason here to speak.
Yeah, please.
Good evening. My name is Jason Woodward. My address is 5000 Valley Stone Drive, Cary, North Carolina. That's where our corporate headquarters is located. I reside, used to reside actually in Chicago, and now I reside in Michigan. So overall, the benefits for the cell tower mainly was exactly what the school stated, was that FirstNet is actually a priority for this area. I'll just give a little bit of background on what FirstNet is and how it's applied. So after 9/11 and Katrina, the federal government enacted a public safety initiative in order to have an interoperability system, a system that would actually prioritize first responders in case of a national or local emergency. The federal government initiated through the FCC a program called FirstNet, which basically was allocated $9 billion across the country in order to build out a nationwide network. $9 billion is going to get you about half the state of Illinois if you're lucky. It's very expensive to do it. So what they ended up doing is partnering with a wireless communications company, which is AT&T, in order for AT&T to use some of their capital to fund a national directive. So AT&T's network backbones on what's called Block 14, which is a band of spectrum that can be used by the public, but it can also be used by the first responders, and it's prioritized for the first responders over the general public. So what it ends up doing is it actually, there's a SIM card inside your phone that if a first responder has a subscription through FirstNet, their phone is prioritized at all times. So if a police officer has FirstNet, or a fire department, ambulatory, even a school official, if they make a phone call and they're at the grocery store asking for, his wife, what would you like for dinner tonight, he's prioritized over the general public at all times. So that is the main key. The second is obviously there is a financial windfall for the school as well. So we're actually leasing the property. So the school does get some revenue from TowerCo in order to utilize that ground. But there is also a position where our business, or my business, is very similar to what we call, instead of being horizontal real estate, which is like a strip mall, it becomes vertical real estate. So what we want to do is we want to be able to lease up that tower to other providers other than just AT&T. So we want to give access to companies like Verizon, Dish, T-Mobile as well. Those are the 4 national carriers throughout the country.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? Or?
Yeah, it does answer my question. I would like to get Chief Rivas or one of our first responder people to speak on what they feel about FirstNet and the usability of it for the schools, so on.
Well, thank you for the question. There's a couple of different vendors that provide this service. Our department currently is not on FirstNet. We've spoken to a couple different vendors along the way, and we're still shopping our options. We have a GovNet type card that will allow us free use in a situation where you have cells that are being burgeoning with service. So, and that's what we currently
use. So there is no absolute direct benefit to the village of Villa Park in terms of the village from a FirstNet system.
So that I would have no idea, technology-wise. That's beyond my purview.
Okay. At this point. At this point. You're not on that service. Okay.
It was brought up at Planning and Zoning, though, that the question was brought up with DUCOM, which is the, DuPage County Communications. They send out all the fire and police calls. And they were okay with having this tower here that would not interfere with DUCOM service. It would enhance their service, though, with anybody that's on the emergency system, on FirstNet. And Chief?
Sure. As far as the fire department goes, like Chief Rivas said, we actually use Verizon, so we don't have that, but we do have those cards in case we did have to have priority in a village emergency or something like that. So, just so you're FYI, we don't have AT&T.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for being here tonight. You had brought up the fact or referred to Hurricane Katrina. I was actually a first responder to Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina made landfall. We were there within 12 hours after that. I was deployed to Gulfport, Mississippi. I have seen firsthand the aftermath of a natural disaster and what that means to first responders. I was also in the service during 9/11 as well. I understand the need for communication. It's essential. However, what I would like to know more about is why do we need cell service for those phones? Usually in instances like a natural disaster or in this case 9/11, everybody goes to their cell phones, jams DUCOM, and you can't get through. And I understand that DUCOM needs the most accurate and up-to-date information, and you can't really get that when you have a call jam of callers in there. So I understand that. However, what I'm trying to debate between is what kind of event could happen that would make us as a municipality, as small as Villa Park, need that extra service regarding our cells. Currently, we have done active shooting drills at Willowbrook High School. Last year at Highland Park during the 4th of July parade. There are many instances of disasters or emergencies that need to be addressed. However, outside of 9/11, I don't know, or a natural disaster, I don't know any other instance where cell phones have been jamming the lines and DUCOM hasn't been able to appropriately get that information out to our first responders. So that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Sure. And that's a very fair question. And again, thank you for your service. I appreciate everything. One of the components that I think is really important is even though that your community is not maybe using FirstNet, it is a federal requirement as well as a statewide requirement. So the governor at the time, I believe it was 2017, actually signed a directive in order to launch FirstNet across the state of Illinois. Every single state in the union actually signed off on that. In situations with cellular, there are two different types of devices, and by no means am I a complete expert, but you have a two-way communication scale, which is basically like a Motorola radio where you're talking, or you have a dispatch program. That's basically DUCOM. But there is also the squad car data dump, emergency service transfer of information that also comes through on wireless. So usually the backbone, which your police and fire are currently using, is Verizon's backbone for their squad car data dump. I'm assuming that, by the way. And I'm sure that they have cell phones connected at their hip that are probably department issued. They have prioritization on their system equally, but it's not the federally licensed on Block 14. So Verizon kind of created their version of FirstNet, per se. Now, when it comes to having issues with capacity and problems, so I live in Michigan. I live probably about 20 minutes from Oxford. Oxford was that school shooting issue or incident basically clogged up the local cell site so bad that the Oakland County Sheriff's Department was basically dependent upon their phones in order to get data that was happening from the school, because the principals and the people that were in the school did not have access to DUCOM, to two-way radios. The general public is the one who is actually calling out saying, we have an issue, we have an emergency, we're trying to call 911, we can't get out. That gives them the prioritization. So Oakland County Sheriff's was one of the very first entities, because Sheriff Bouchard was one of the first that set the directive that they wanted FirstNet active in their community after 9/11. And so my community actually has full-blown FirstNet, where the Sheriff's Department uses it, a lot of the hospitals use it, but some of the local police departments, in fairness, and fire departments do not use FirstNet just yet. I can't say that all your departments do, but I would ask that you definitely keep in mind that there is other departments that use this technology that may not just be core central to your police and fire. So hospital, ambulatory is also very important. So if they pick up a patient and they are transmitting data from the ambulance into the hospital, they give a full report before the patient even shows up. So that comes over wirelessly. But that's where that prioritization is key.
So then to follow up with that though, our local services, well, our first responders here, they also utilize mutual aid regularly. Again, that is something that has been standard practice. If we can't make a call, we hope that mutual aid will come. We also have DuPage County that has a an emergency response team as well as through the state. And again, I'm just trying to justify, and I'm not doubting that the municipality that you're talking about from Oxford didn't jam up the lines. However, I know that Villa Park is a small municipality sandwiched in between a bunch of larger ones, and that I don't know if that is worth our resources there.
So one of the difficult aspects of cellular systems is that cell towers basically work off of what we call 3 sectors. Those sectors basically can get overrun by a large quantity of calls or a large quantity of activity on one centralized cell site. So there is a large area there that they're trying to cover with a large population that if they all go to their phone, they're trying to get the prioritization and trying to make sure that they're close to the fire department, which was up towards, I believe it's the north. Is it the north? Can't remember if it's the north, or is it? Sorry for my directional challenge here. But then the police station and the high school and the Islamic Center. So those were the areas of coverage that was needed by FirstNet when the engineers basically said, we have a lack of coverage, we have lack of in-building coverage. When I met with the school, there was a lot of concerns that they did not have good coverage within the school where they've had challenges. I will let the school speak upon that. But the idea is to place the tower a little bit closer to the school, get better coverage inside in-building, but there was also, the capabilities of providing that service of FirstNet to the school if they choose to use it.
You had said earlier that federal legislation had required municipalities in Illinois to opt into this, or can you elaborate a little bit more about that federal legislation and whether or not it directs each specific municipality and or where those other towers that provide this service are located in regards to our location right now?
So I don't know exactly where all the towers are in relation to where we are right now. I do know that your water tank right behind here, I believe, has AT&T on it. I'm not exactly sure about that, but that would be a FirstNet location. Any site that AT&T is currently on that they're operational on is converting to FirstNet. I'm sorry, what was another one of your questions?
So you're talking about federal legislation and how that relates to each municipality.
So the federal legislation that happened is when FirstNet was created, the federal government, or the FCC, basically initiated a request from all the governors at the time, and this is available on the internet. All the governors were requested to either what they say opt in or opt out. They had, I believe, until the end of December of 2018 to choose either route. If the governor opted to opt out of FirstNet, the state was then required to then sublet the spectrum, Block 14, from the federal government and create and build their own network for first responders. The problem with that is the cost was just exorbitant. So the route that was the path of least resistance was to team up with AT&T and sign off and permit AT&T to build a FirstNet plan for the state. So when that was determined, each governor had to sign a directive that they would permit the development of FirstNet in each one of their states. So the governor at the time, and I apologize, I don't remember who the governor was at that time, but there was a directive that was signed in order to initiate FirstNet in the state of Illinois.
Did that federal legislation, though, require each municipality to opt into this, or just the state?
I believe it was at the state level, so I don't think they couldn't demand that the municipality had to, use it, but they have to help support or develop the infrastructure.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any other questions or comments? Trustee Kumar.
I would like to get our DuPage 88 representative back up to ask a few questions if possible. So other than the first response system and the advantage of being able to enroll, are there any other advantages do you think from installing this cell tower?
So there is the lease amount of $1,700 per month that we would see as a district. In addition, we are also trying to see if we are able to get our current lease that we lease out for our buses, our transportation with Cottage Hill right here in Villa Park. They need a radio signal to transmit their radio comm. So right now we're leasing tower space to the tune of around $30,000 a year for that communication to work. Ideally, if this tower gets built, we can then just host that on our own site. Primarily, those are the main benefits.
So the 30,000 and some leasing, the funds they give you to lease
Yeah,
this space.
$1,700 a month.
$1,700 a month.
Will that also help your self-service inside the building? I heard him say something about.
We're
it will
hopeful.
help.
We did with the Village of Villa Parks PD. So a couple years ago, we installed a bidirectional amplifier to help boost the signal within the building. We're hopeful that we got most of it, but we've just heard recently now that the fire department's having issues with their comm. So ideally, with a cell tower as close as it is, I don't know if the cell tower that's currently at the fire department, if that's in a similar distance away from the school already, if that provides the service, ideally, hopefully. But it's a cinder block building that's built like a bomb shelter. So we're hopeful, but still realistic.
But it could help that.
Could help.
Could help your service, okay.
So,
Trustee Kumar.
to piggyback off that, I think more likely is distance and the main consideration, or is it the building construction the main consideration that prevents or it allows the invasiveness or the ability to connect to cell? I'd like you to speak on that.
So both play a factor. So proximity to the building as well as the density of the exterior of the building do affect the cellular structure or the cellular reception. So the closer you are to a handset, the better off it is. I am not the AT&T RF engineer, so their goal is to get the best coverage in between, all the buildings that are there. Is it absolutely seamless? I can't go on record and promise that, but I do know that it's going to improve what's currently in the sense of coverage.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions left that I have to vet out on this. I would like to push this off if possible, so I'm going to make a motion to move this to the next. I would like a whole month, at least 1 month away, to actually vet out these issues.
Okay, so.
I'd like to move this resolution to, I don't know, a date starts in 1 month from now.
Let's get
August
the
28th.
date.
August 28th.
August 28th, is that the meeting of
It's
the
our
board?
second meeting.
Yeah.
It's the second meeting in August. Okay, we have a motion to table this until August 28th. Do we have a second on that motion? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to second that motion.
Okay. All right. Questions or comments?
Can I
Yeah, sure.
provide an input,
Go ahead.
Just so the board is aware on timing of this matter, so today the board received the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and so you have 60 days from that date to make a decision on this. The motion to postpone is within that time period, but I'm just keeping the board aware of the timing related to this matter.
Questions on the motion? Clerk Konecki.
Okay, Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
President Casone?
Yes. Okay, so we'll table that till August 28th.
Postponement?
Correct, yeah. Trustee Kumar, do you want to contact the representative?
Yes, I
Answer your
would.
questions?
Yes,
Okay.
actually, I will send my questions to Matt, and he will forward it
Okay.
to the appropriate parties.
Trustee Alfano?
I also have a couple of questions, but I do have some questions for not just District 88, but also for our chiefs, and maybe even for Director Guerrero too, just to kind of understand a little bit more about how it works, how this kind of service, even though we might not be using the same one that D88 is looking for, just to see how that works.
Okay. Yeah, okay, then we'll forward everything to the manager.
Perfect. Thank you.
Trustee Patrick.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I'm requesting that if any other board members have communication or questions, that we do forward it through the manager so that way he could CC us on the communication, because I also have questions and they might be answered through other questions, but it would be nice to stay in the loop of information.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just if you're sending them in the next week, make sure to, next couple of weeks, make sure to copy Suzanne McVeigh on it.
I'm sorry?
Make sure to copy Suzanne McVeigh.
Yeah, the manager's going to be out the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item 11A. Is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park authorizing the execution of an agreement between the Village of Villa Park, Illinois and ECS Midwest LLC for professional services related to construction material testing related to foundations, concrete, masonry, structural steel, and asphalt paving for the Lions Park Recreational Center project in an estimated amount of $25,937.50. Manager Harley.
This is a resolution authorizing agreement with ECS Midwest LLC for professional services for the Villa Park Lions Recreation Center, construction material testing related to foundations, concrete, masonry, structural steel, and asphalt paving for Lions Park Recreational Center project in an estimated amount of $25,937.50. In the packet, we went into some detail a little bit more detail in the memo. There were 3 bids, and ECS Midwest LLC was the best fit to meet the needs, and they also provided the lowest responsible bid of the 3 entities. Their bid, all the other 2 proposals came in at a combined bid, our combined price, so the combined price of ECS was lower than either of the other 2.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee
I will
Kumar?
second.
Okay, questions or comments? Trustee Patrick?
I guess this is for the village manager. If you could just explain what you mean by material testing.
But I'll let Greg Gola explain the nature of his project, so.
Well, good evening. Being the handy guy that I am, I copied out the scope of services because that explains it a little better than I could. But for the materials testing, this company ensures that the contractors are following or in compliance with the standard procedures and generally accepted construction procedures. So, like for their scope of services, just for an example, the cast in concrete, they test and report on concrete for compliance with provisions and the list of ACI 318, 301, 214, and so forth, and local building codes, generally accepted construction practices. And then they observe the placement of like reinforcing the steel rebar, that type of thing. So they're looking at the building and looking out for our best interests to make sure that the contractors are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
To answer your question?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, they basically go in there and make sure, the asphalt is, if you say 3 inches, it's 3 inches thick. The concrete, it meets load-bearing capacity. I don't know if you've ever seen on the side of the road, you'll see little canisters, they got concrete in them, and they take them to a lab and they test them to make sure that they meet whatever standard, the ACI or the ASTM standards.
Thank you.
Yeah. Trustee Kumar.
I'm happy that they're doing that, but my question is this: how liable are they if it doesn't meet standards? What is the fallback to the village suppose this company comes in and says it's true and it's not true. What's our gain in using the company if we don't have something that says?
That's why they're there. That's what their
I know,
contract will be to do that.
they're there for
yeah.
that, but there's nothing to say that they can't come in and just say, okay, it's 3 inches when it's 4 inches.
I don't think they would be in business for very long if they
Yeah,
were
then
fudged
it's-
on.
Oh, well, that is true, but I'm just saying that, is there some kind of contract between us and them that gives us a warranty on their service?
That's what we're approving tonight. So it includes requirements for insurance and
I just want to make sure that we have all that
absolutely
on the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our attorney, Melissa Wolf, has gone over both of these contracts to make sure that we are protected, to make sure that they are putting all the insurance, that they have the insurance to protect us in case they fail in their testing of the original equipment. So
I'm just making that sure.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you, Melissa.
And then if there is a defect found by this company, the other trade company would be in violation of their contract, and there would be remedies appropriate to the village in that event as well.
That's what I wanted to ask, making sure.
Okay, any other questions? Hey, Clerk Hernecki.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, we go to item 11B is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park authorizing the execution of an agreement between the Village of Villa Park, Illinois and ECS Midwest LLC for professional services related to construction material testing related to excavation foundation and mass grading for the Lions Park Recreational Center project in an estimated amount of $15,135. Manager Harline.
Staff also recommends approval of this resolution authorizing agreement with ECS Midwest LLC for the professional services just described by President Kazone, specifically construction material testing related to excavation, foundation, and mass grading for the Lions Park Recreational Center project. The estimated amount is $15,135. Again, they received 3 bids, and this was the best, or the 3 proposals, and this was the best of the proposals.
Okay, we have a motion for the resolution.
I'll make that
Trustee
motion.
Corkery, do we have a second? Trustee Kumar. Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Hernecki, please.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Okay, item 11C is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, adopting the 2023 DuPage County Multi-Jurisdictional Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan. Manager Harline.
This resolution is to adopt a 2003 new DuPage County Multi-Jurisdictional Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan for the Village of Villa Park and naming the Public Works Deputy Director, Rich Salerno, as the village's representative. The plan is an update to the 2018 plan, as they are required to be updated every 5 years. The DuPage County Board on June 27, 2023 adopted the plan and is approved pending adoption with FEMA. Adoption of the plan is required to make the Village of Villa Park eligible for Federal Hazard Mitigation Assistance, HMA, grant funding. Staff recommends approval of the 2023 DuPage County Mutual Jurisdictional Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan. And being in this made possible the Jackson Pond project. So it's important that we stay, that we adopt the hazard mitigation plan.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
Have a second? Trustee Kumar?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, do we have any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Hernecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Item 11D is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing certain agreements with Enterprise FM Trust to provide fleet management services for the village. Manager Harlan.
The resolution authorizes the village manager to execute the necessary agreements with Enterprise FM Trust for fleet management services due to deferring replacement of vehicles, the village is currently well behind schedule at the current rate of replacement. We may hit a point where we may be unable at times to put people in a functioning vehicle as necessary. Staff has researched the benefits of entering into agreement with Enterprise Fleet Management, Inc. to update our rolling stock and negotiate these agreements. Staff recommends approval of the resolution. A couple of notes. In the first year, despite the presentation that was that came to us last, Raymond just made last, or 2 weeks ago at our last meeting, we're not going to be getting 34 vehicles in the first year. Our first year plan is to get 12 new vehicles, and we'll see in the future years that with the vehicles we purchased, we believe is an adequate supply without putting ourselves in a financial burden in 3 to 4 years. We would see the first of the vehicles purchased in this, or leased in this agreement to come offline in 4 years. Those would be police vehicles, and then we'd start seeing some resale value. So for 3 years, we would be adding cost without realizing any benefit from the resale. So we want to keep those numbers low. You know, his plan was a little more aggressive than what I think we can afford. So the first year we have 12 specific vehicles. I will get you that list. I meant to put it in to talk to Trustee Alfano over the weekend, and just ran out of time today to get it in there. But I'll send you out that list of the 12 vehicles. We went over the vehicle list extensively with department heads, and Matt Freary, the foreman of our fleet management program, or our fleet management division, and the importance of getting the lease agreement and the master lease agreement assigned is so that we can start getting in the queue, especially for police vehicles, and the fire officer's vehicle, because they are still going to take 6 months probably to get a vehicle. There will be no vehicles brought online until next budget year. This just gets us into the queue so we can have those in next fiscal year, after January 1st.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
You have a second? Trustee Alfano? Any questions or comments? Trustee Patrick?
For the village manager, a lot of the residential calls that I'm taking or fielding revolve around, like, for example, our next agenda item. As we have this plan in place to be leasing vehicles, and I know you said the first year is going to be 12. So moving forward in these next 3 years, what's the village's approach to purchasing vehicles like 11E and going forward? Are we going to start relying on the leasing, or are we going to also start budgeting for individual vehicles each year?
The plan moving forward would be to lease the police, the basic vehicles, pickup trucks, Ford Escapes for community development. The rolling stock that is not the fire vehicles, the heavy equipment vehicles, most of the rest of the stock we would be moving towards lease program, at least for the next couple of years, to see how it's working. And if I'd like to make it to year 4 to see about the payback, but I think that this has a definite advantage. And as we get newer vehicles in this fleet, we'll have less maintenance. And right now, although Matt and his crew work really hard, I'd like to see turnaround on some things, like when we get a new police car, to get it out of the shop and onto the street. But we have so much else going on. So there's a lot of things that I think we can benefit from, and overall cost of ownership, I think, will go down. But we can't keep up. His schedule would become too expensive. We're not spending that much now. I don't anticipate that we would be able to put $500,000-$600,000 a year into that rolling stock. So our number is in keeping with what we've been spending in the last several years. Again, the vehicles we're purchasing tonight, immediate needs. One is replacing a police cruiser that was wrecked, and the other is replacing a vehicle that is in its 15th year of use, and it's a hybrid, So the concern is that the battery could give out soon, and it's had some other issues. So those are immediate needs. We'll switch to the leasing with next fiscal year.
Okay. How do we budget for incidents like the police cruiser that's damaged? I know moving forward, we're going to rely on leasing. Or that's the tentative plan. But how have we in the past leading up to now dealt with that?
Up to now?
Yeah, is it just it comes right out of the general fund for a need like that?
Yes.
Okay, so nothing is budgeted for emergency.
Well, we have, we have a small contingency, and then we have, then that's what the fund balance is for a certain extent for emergencies. It's also going to keep it, there's more to it than that. But yes, and we have typically just tried to make do and find, if it's not a police vehicle, which requires special equipment, we just sort of make do with another vehicle until we can buy another one.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Trustee Alfano.
This is also for Manager Harline. The 12 vehicles for the first year, what is the breakdown of those vehicles? What are you thinking?
I'll get you, I can't remember exactly. There are 3 police vehicles. There's a Durango for the fire department. There's a replacing the Parks and Rec bus. I think there's 2 or 3. I think there's 1 for Public Works, 1 for Community Development, and then I've got the Excel spreadsheet here. I can send it to you by email before the end of the meeting, but
that would be great.
I can't remember exactly the 12 vehicles.
And one other question, when possible and when it makes sense, would you look into hybrid or electrical vehicles, or does that not make sense with the leasing agreement?
We've purchased hybrid vehicles in the past. They're almost impossible to come by right now. So they're very scarce in the market and also dear in price now. Electric vehicles require us to install a bunch of other equipment, and there's some requirements for, it would change how our mechanics shop deals with those vehicles. We'd probably have to contract any repair work out. I don't know if Enterprise is leasing any electric vehicles.
I was going to say, if it's under a lease, it's usually Enterprise that's dealing with that, right? Or is
right. We still have to charge it though, so we have to install charging equipment. Although there are some we haven't gotten. That's a whole other
avenue,
bridge to cross.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Clerk Krenicki, please.
Okay, Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Item 11E is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the village manager to purchase a 2023 Ford Escape for the Public Works Department at a cost not to exceed $35,000. Manager Harline.
Yes. Back a couple of pages. The 2023 village budget included a replacement for the Public Works Vehicle 63, a 2009 Toyota Prius. Due to the age of the vehicle and lithium battery for the hybrid, Public Works is recommending purchase of a 2023 Ford Escape, all-wheel drive at a cost not to exceed $35,000. And they did look for hybrids, and they could not find any. The current demand for vehicles in the marketplace has prevented the village from acquiring vehicles through competitive bid, which was done previously. This vehicle is available through a local dealership, allowing this vehicle to be acquired within this budget year. The proposed resolution will vest the village managers with the authority to purchase this 2023 Ford Escape, other substantially similar and comparable vehicle for Public Works Department through a dealership without competitive bidding at a cost not to exceed $35,000.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion for the resolution. Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'll make that motion.
Trustee Corkery? Questions or comments? Trustee Kumar?
Well, there is a long-run cost of gas as well, so that is something we do buy fuel for these vehicles, I assume, and so we should be on the lookout for lower fuel consumption vehicles as much as possible is all I would suggest. I mean, even if you can't get a hybrid.
Do you want to talk about the,
Thank you. Yeah, we were looking for a hybrid on this one. However, like the competitive pricings, they're not giving any fleet vehicles. So we did choose the Escape, and looking at the Escape, I believe we try to put the winter sticker, the MSV. It averages about, I think, 28 miles per gallon, which matches a lot of our other administration cars that get the cruises, so they're 28 to 30 miles an hour per gallon, or 30 miles per gallon. So we're trying to keep it in that higher range, and then have a little bit more functional of a car for Public Works with the all-wheel drive, the ability to have a little bit more space in the back to make it more functional for the department.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Okay, trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
President Casone.
Yes. Item 11F is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a contract with Builders Paving LLC of Hillside, Illinois for construction of the 2023 Rebuild Illinois resurfacing project in an amount not to exceed $1,160,000. Manager Harline.
this resolution authorizes the board president to execute a contract with Builders Paving LLC of Hillside, Illinois for the construction of the 2023 Rebuild Illinois resurfacing project in an amount not to exceed $1,160,000. Builders Paving LLC of Hillside, Illinois submitted the lowest responsible bid. Funding for construction will be paid from the Street Improvement Fund for capital and the Motor Fuel Tax Fund. This project is included in the FY 2023 budget and includes resurfacing of parts of Central Boulevard, East Congress Street, South Cornell Avenue, South Harvard Avenue, and East Van Buren Street. A map is included in the packet that goes with this. And if you have any other additional questions, Public Works Director Guerra is here to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have a motion for the resolution. Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
We have a second. Trustee Corkery? Questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Okay, trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
President Casone.
Yes. Item 11G is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, for improvement under the Illinois Highway Code for the use of Rebuild Illinois general obligation bond proceeds for portion of the construction of the 2023 Rebuild Illinois resurfacing project, Section 22-00102-00-RS. Manager Harline.
The village plans to utilize the remaining portion of the Rebuild Illinois GO bond proceeds it received from the Illinois Department of Transportation to fund the construction of the 2023 Rebuild Illinois resurfacing project. The village received a total of $1,443,559.80 in bond funds. Of this bond amount, $342,816.96 was utilized for the construction of the 2022 Rebuild Illinois resurfacing project, leaving $1,100,742.84 in bond funds remaining for this project. The project is IDOT Section 22-00102-00-RS, and this resolution in this format is required by IDOT to allow the use of these funds. Staff recommends approval of this resolution.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution?
I'll make that
Corkery, do we have a second? Trustee Kumar. Questions or comments? Clerk Kornecki, please.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
President Casone.
Yes. Okay, item 11H, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, for improvement under the Illinois Highway Code for the use of motor fuel tax funds for a portion of construction of the 2023 Rebuild Illinois resurfacing project, Section 22-00102-00-RS.
The village plans to utilize a portion of the motor fuels tax funds it receives from the Illinois Department of Transportation to supplement the construction of the 2023 Rebuild Illinois resurfacing project. The MFT funds would cover the portions of the rebuild project that are not eligible for bond funds. and would cover any project cost that exceeds the village's allotment of bond funds. The project is IDOT Section 22-00102-00-RS, and this resolution in this format is required by IDOT to allow the use of these funds. Staff recommends approval of this resolution.
Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Corkery, do we have a second? Trustee Alfano, questions or comments? Okay, Clerk Kornecki, please.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Item 11I is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving an agreement with Strand Associates, Inc. of Joliet, Illinois, for Phase 3 construction engineering services for the 2023 Rebuild Illinois resurfacing project in an amount not to exceed $123,800. Manager Hotline.
The 2023 Rebuild Illinois resurfacing project is proposed in the Village of Villa Park's capital improvement plan. The project's objective is to improve the condition of the roadway of various village streets. Staff recommends approval of the engineering service agreement with Strand Associates Inc. of Joliet, Illinois for Phase 3 construction engineering of the 2023 Rebuild Illinois resurfacing project in an amount not to exceed $123,800. Funding for these engineering services would be from the Street Improvement Fund and the Capital Fund.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion for the resolution. Trustee Corkery, do we have a second? Trustee Patrick, questions or comments? Clerk Kornecki, please.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
President Kazone?
Yes. Item 11J is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, waiving the competitive bidding, authorizing the purchase of a 2023 Dodge Durango Pursuit police vehicle through Bosac Motors of Maryville, LLC, in the total amount of $41,751.25. Manager Harline.
On May 2023, an officer was conducting a traffic stop when another vehicle struck the rear, and the damage to car 197 resulting from that collision is 2020 Ford Explorer Interceptor was determined a total loss by IRMA. Staff conducted a nationwide search for a replacement vehicle and was able to locate an in-stock 2023 Dodge Durango available at Bosac Motors of Merrillville, Indiana for the total cost of $41,751.25. The village will receive $26,674 for the Ford Explorer plus another $8,000 for removal and installation of equipment. The total purchase cost will be paid from 10/5/20/09/401 with the offsetting revenues placed in the general revenue fund. And then the rest of the costs essentially could be covered by the savings from the vehicle we talked about earlier. There is a car that is physically on hold waiting for this resolution, and if you have further questions, Chief Rivas is here to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick?
President, I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Alfano? Okay, questions or comments? Trustee Patrick?
I think this is for village manager, maybe also the attorney, but being that it was not the officer's fault that the damage occurred, are we able to get restitution to help alleviate the cost of that?
Well, and actually Suzanne McVeigh, I'm sorry, President Cadone, thank you. Probably the best expert on that is Suzanne McVeigh, because this is a claim with IRMA. They are seeking subrogation against the driver of the other car, and I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
Unfortunately, we don't believe that we would be able to recoup those costs because the vehicle that was damaged is worth the amount that IRMA is giving us, right? So we will get subrogation for the $26,000, but from a vehicle standpoint, even though we have replacement coverage, we're going to replace with a new vehicle. In terms of what we're likely to get, it's going to be that $26,000. So we are currently looking, and we've asked IRMA to go, because we also have some other liability claims with this particular driver for injuries to our officers. So there's a larger claim out there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Clerk Ronicky.
Okay, trustee Corkery,
Yes.
trustee Kumar,
Yes.
trustee Patrick,
Yes.
trustee Kozar,
Yes.
trustee Alfano,
Yes.
President Kazone.
Yes. Okay, our last one. Item 11K is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park authorizing the execution of an open space land acquisition and development, or OSLAD grant program application to the Illinois Department of Natural Resources for the Lions Park Development Project in the Village of Villa Park. Manager Harley.
The Parks and Recreation Department would like to provide additional outdoor recreation amenities to the village residents at Lions Park, in addition to, of course, the recreation center. The department would like to construct a new basketball court and playground, along with the addition of various recreational amenities, including, and I wrote this after we had the results in, 2 pickleball courts, shelter by playground, senior area, pollinator garden with interpretive sign, and story walk, all based on community input. Actually, or Greg did. The Parks and Recreation staff, commission, and Recreation Commission and staff. The Recreation Commission unanimously recommends, as well as staff, that the village board adopt a resolution to permit Upland Design Limited, Plainfield, Illinois, to complete Lions Park design services and submit on behalf of the village an open space land acquisition NOSLAD grant application for the maximum grant award of $600,000. This is a matching grant where the Village of Villa Park would also have to commit to funding of $600,000 for the project. Funds of $300,000 will be budgeted in both 2024 and 2025 budget years. Director Gola is here, but Director Gola of Parks and Rec could answer any questions you have about this grant application.
Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Patrick?
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion.
We have a second? Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Okay, questions or comments? Trustee Kumar?
I'm very happy that they're going through with the grant and all of that, but I am a little bit concerned about the park. I think the park doesn't come as part of this, and what are our plans for that?
Director Gola?
Is the park also a part of it? Because it didn't seem like it was.
I'm not understanding the park.
The playground, sorry, the playground area.
Yes, the playground is part,
It is.
Yes,
yes.
yep.
Because at the end, I got a little confused because I thought she didn't include the playground as part of it.
We're going to do
Ballpark
the
isn't
ball field, the renovations we're going to do in-house.
Okay, so the
because there was some questions at the community input, if you remember about the recreation, community input meetings, there was talk about the pool, maybe doing some additional amenities, adding a spray pad and more pickleball courts, what have you. And so if we did the ball field renovation with the OSLAD grant, then we wouldn't be able to do anything in that area.
No,
So there was
I
plenty of questions.
Yeah, I understand that part, but the actual playground, she showed some pictures of I guess a jungle gym of like.
It was the netting structure.
Netting structure, and those are included in this.
Correct.
Okay, just making sure.
Trustee Patrick?
And just to reiterate or to clarify again, is that we will not know that we were rewarded this grant until early next year?
That's correct.
January-ish?
Correct.
Okay.
They usually make their announcements at our Illinois Park and Rec State Conference.
And when is that?
That's usually at the end of January.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Alfano?
Thank you for all the hard work that you and the Parks and Recs Commission have put into this. I know that there's been some, we've had to do this really quick because of that time constraint. Thank you for that. Can you clarify with the ballpark?
Yes.
I know that there was some discussion over how we were going to protect the pickleball court and how we were going to protect the people who might be playing on the basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
How would we protect that if they're all being used at the same time?
Well, protected from baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah, my idea is to put up some protective netting.
Yeah.
So there's one of the budget items was the open air shelter, and there might be a cost savings where, the way they figured out is hiring contractors to put it up, which would be a little more costly as opposed to us doing it. And I've got staff that have put all the open air shelters up So there'd be some cost savings there potentially. And then depending on when the bids come back, I would like to put up some netting, protective netting, for sure.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that
Yep.
they can all be utilized around at the same time.
Right,
They don't have to
yeah.
cancel anything. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, thanks, Director, you did a lot of work on that one in a short amount of time. so. Okay, Clerk Hronecki, please.
Yeah, Trustee Kozar,
Yes.
Trustee Corkery.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Patrick.
Yes.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Kazone.
Yes. Okay, item 12, public comments on non-agenda items. Clerk Hronecki, we have anyone signed up?
Yes, we do. Larry Hebert.
Hi, guys. Thanks for being here, and thanks for everybody, all your work that you're doing for our village. Two things either the chief or the attorney might know. Are people allowed to ride 2 and 3 abreast on our bicycles in our streets? What is the law? I looked online, I could find nothing for Villa Park. Because that's certainly becoming a problem, especially on some of the narrow streets.
The chief knows.
I think we'll ask our police chief, Chief Rivas.
Yeah, okay, it's supposed to be in single file. We had a near accident the other day because this jerk decided to pull out as I was on a one-lane street, you know.
Well, according to Illinois Vehicle Code, bicycles are vehicles and are considered vehicles on the roadway. As long as you can have 2 in a lane, I believe it's 2. Same thing with motorcycles. So if they're spraying outside of the lane, then obviously that would be some sort of violation. If there was some sort of dangerous issue, please call us and we would address it.
But they can ride 2 abreast, that's answers.
I believe so.
Okay, good, thank you, Chief, appreciate it. The other thing is this letter, I don't know how many people in Villa Park got it. Villa Park, you guys seen this before?
Yes, this was discussed at the last 2 board meetings.
Okay, I don't know, was anything sent out so that we should just forget? It is a hoax, is that correct?
No.
It's not a hoax?
No.
Because I was told it was a hoax, so I want to get some confirmation on this.
No, it is not a hoax. It is a, like outside vendor selling electricity.
I know what it is, I
Yeah.
just want to know where the village has the right to change our personal home service.
You have the right to opt out of that.
No,
if you like.
yeah, but we know how, I haven't got 2 credit card statements already this year. Our mail service is not as bad as Lombard. It's not good. For the ones that don't get this, they're going to get their, I think it's wrong to do this. I never heard of such a thing where village has the option, even though we can opt out, to change our personal private utility vendors. We can do that ourselves. I think, I don't know what you say, Madam Attorney, but I think it's illegal. And I think there could be a case against the village, but they don't want to do that, because I don't want to do it, because I even brought my ComEd bill to show you guys. They don't specify that, like the management fees and all that, miscellaneous fees. If you look on your bill just for ComEd, they don't total them, they list them, but they don't total them, and there's a whole bunch of money in there. So the same thing is happening with this new company that you guys, I guess, I'm sorry I missed the last meeting, but they don't tell you anything or even estimate what those fees are. So is it?
From my understanding, they're, whatever this, it's 7.68 or 7.98.
That doesn't include any fees.
Per kilowatt hour. That's all the charge that you'll get from them.
Yeah, the rest is by,
Sorry.
the rest of the fees are
Hang on.
supposed.
I don't know, Manager, you want to explain it, or?
I didn't mean to interrupt Trustee
No,
Kumar.
Go ahead. Well,
So,
it's better that you explain.
Yeah.
I agree with President Gonzalez.
so a little bit of history. In 2009, state law was passed allowing villages to enter into agreements, not to buy, but enter into agreements with third-party providers for green energy or for better rates for their customers. In 2013, the village voted on by referendum to give that authority to the village board. The village board has not used it, but maybe one other time. But so the village, working with the Northern Illinois Municipal Electrical Cooperative, looked at some options to go for a green energy portfolio for the village. At the time, we thought we could get a rate that was better than ComEd's, because ComEd's rate at the time was around 9 cents per kilowatt hour. As of just days after when we went to market, NIMEC, so the village doesn't actually interact directly with MC Squared. NIMEC searched for the best rates for green energy. a recommendation had in March, April this year, the Environmental Concerns Commission recommended to this board, actually, I guess it was before that, actually, because the first discussion at this board was in March, but recommended that we do a green energy purchase. And so in June, given the authorization from this board and the direction to go for 100% green energy, we executed that contract. At that point, afterwards, we found out that ComEd's rate had dipped down to, I think it's 6.0. It's going to be on your bill there. That rate is fixed for 25 months by contract. The ComEd is required to buy the equivalent of all the energy used by all the people who don't opt out to supply them with green energy. So they're buying 100% of that amount of energy through MC Squared, and it happens that the way that MC Squared is supplying that is from a wind farm. So it would be 100% green energy. We would get an EPA certification for the village, which we could advertise for businesses who want to have a green energy portfolio. So this board, in keeping with trying to support the Environmental Concerns Commission, made that election. Gave me the authority to enter into that contract, and right now it's not the best economic deal. It is, so it's right now you would be paying slightly more for green energy, and you may opt out. That can change over time, and NYMEX suspects it will, but that's where we're at right now. And the reason why they do it all as an opt-in, opt-out, as an opt-out program is because it would be incredibly difficult to try and get from ComEd their list to do advertising. Whereas in this case, this is the way it's traditionally been done. This is the way I'm not sure if it can be done by the opt-in process, because then we would be soliciting their customers. What we did was worked as a board to make that purchase as authorized back in 2013.
Did you say there was a referendum that allowed you guys to do that?
Yes.
And that sort of answers my question.
Yes.
Really. I know you guys have worked on this, so maybe it'll be a good deal.
Yeah, but it was a while, what would you say,
There was something
2013?
passed that allowed the board to do that, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm sorry to take your time on
No,
it.
that's fine.
I hope a lot of people are watching, because we've gotten a lot of phone calls. And,
Is
not
there any
only...
way you guys can send anything out to put in the paper, a balloon on the sky, they'll shoot it down. But something.
We could have done something a little bit beforehand. However, nothing ever reaches everybody. The only way there were
Didn't
people...
say put it in the mail.
You did not say put it in the mail. You mean there were people who didn't know until the day they showed up that we were getting trash carts and...
Yeah, that's very true.
So I appreciate your concern, and somebody touching your utility bill, I get your...
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
But you can either mail in the card or you can call in to opt out if you're... Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Kokonicki?
President Stone?
Jeff, go ahead.
Might I add a comment?
Sure.
I've also fielded a lot of emails and phone calls regarding this issue as well, and I think that the program is beneficial for us. I think it is the right direction that we need to go. However, I think the village needs to focus a little bit right now on a little damage control, because the program, I do believe, could have been rolled out a little bit more effectively as far as communication goes. And I understand the logistics of mailers and things like that. However, I think it's essential that moving forward from this point, that we start utilizing social media, especially to do a little bit of damage control to get the word out. Because right now there is a negative view of this. Like you said, you thought it was a scam coming in here, and I could completely understand how people see that. However, there's a greater good here, a greater benefit that needs to be expressed to our residents to let them understand that this is not a scam. Ultimately, it is beneficial for our community. It is the green route to take. However, moving forward, we need to take into consideration a decision like this needs to be rolled out a little bit more effectively. I think we could utilize social media along with mailers and other ways to let our residents know the benefits of this and make sure that they know it's not a scam. So that's what I would suggest is moving forward, let's start utilizing social media to dispute some of these claims of this being a scam, and let's get the word out of the actual potential benefits of us doing this as a village.
I believe Donnie's has posted on in social media. He has gotten it out.
I understand that, but one post doesn't necessarily constitute a great audience. I think this needs to be a social media campaign, which can be done effectively, whether that's a post a day for X amount of time or whatnot. But we definitely could do a better job of letting our residents know the benefit of this program and ultimately know that it's not a scam.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Trustee Kumar.
I think we had this similar situation with LRS when it rolled out its cards. We have a similar situation. You need a kind of a social media marketing plan for anything new we do in the village. I'm not disagreeing with Kevin. I think there should be a week-by-week posting that goes on and a standard procedure. So it's over 6 weeks generally that all these campaigns happen and we need to do something over 6 weeks. I think LRS actually did a better job because we got stuff from them than what we did personally for this particular campaign, which is one letter and a posting. So that's not enough.
Clerk Henneke?
Well, yeah, there was Shar Daniels, but I'm not sure if she's still here, though. I think she left. She had an issue about streets.
Okay. Well, hopefully she'll get us an email or something. Okay, we'll go on to item 13, new business. Do we have any new business to discuss? Okay. Item 14, the Village Commission reports, the Environmental Concerns Commission's minutes, May 25th, 2023. Board of Police and Fire Commission minutes of April 25th and May 23rd, 2023. The Economic Development Commission minutes from May 17th, 2023. The Video Production Commission from April 12th, 2023. And the Environmental Concern Commission, the Bike, Pedestrian, and Transit Subcommittee of June 22nd, 2023, and those are all on everyone's packet. Okay, item 16, Village Clerk's report.
One final reminder, this is the last Kiwanis concert will be this week, this Wednesday, the 26th, at 6:30 p.m. on the Prairie Path at the gazebo. So for our public, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, our village trustees report. We will start on the right. Trustee Patrick.
Thank you. I've got a few things tonight. First of all, I have a couple of letters from some residents regarding some issues in the community. First, we received a letter here today on my dais regarding from Steve Della Rosa regarding some certified mail that was sent to the village manager regarding an issue that was brought up by one of the commissions regarding a certain language and how Latino residents are represented here. I would like the village to respond back to Steve Della Rosa and talk about how we can actually make this an action item on an agenda. Also, another letter that I received was from Joe Amori regarding an issue that he reached out to the village and hasn't gotten a response yet. Basically, it's a letter that was originated. It says, "Greetings, the 9888 Suicide and Crisis Prevention Hotline legislation was signed into law on July 15th, 2022. He says, "I applaud the village's efforts to immediately change the existing signs that noted old suicide hotline 800 number to the new 988 number. But those signs did not note the updated messaging that is also a crisis prevention hotline." So he is more or less looking for some more communication from the village as when or if we can get some of that signage changed. Moving along, A few weeks ago, I sent an email to the board regarding some ideas that I have about how we could better utilize our commissions and actually utilize them as an advisory commission. I also, in that email, talked about the potentially creating a new commission that I called the Legacy Advisory Commission, in which it would be composed of at least 3 prior elected officials from Villa Park. I have only heard back from a couple of the board members about that, and I'm asking that you take a closer look at that and get back to me when you can. I do believe that we have a lot of potential to utilize our commissions effectively, and I think some of those ideas would be beneficial to talk about in a future COW meeting or in another future board meeting. Moving along, also, I was not able to make the Lions Park input meeting regarding the Auslan grant. However, I was able to listen to the recording that was created. And one of the things that Director Golub had mentioned later on in the meeting from some conversation that was brought up related to Jefferson Pool was a need for a new liner at Jefferson Pool. And the question is brought up about how long that liner would last, and you had mentioned it'd be about approximately 8 years. I think this is a very important topic, even though it was briefly brought up at that meeting, is that we definitely want to make sure that we do not have another Lufkin Pool situation on our hands. It's important that the amenity that we have at Jefferson Pool currently is maintained and that we are properly and adequately planning for the future. So if we have the potential to extend the life of Jefferson Pool, which is also on the downside of its useful life. But if we are here to say that we can extend that life for 8 years, we need to plan effectively after that for a pool. This is an amenity that our community needs. We used to have 2 pools. We only have 1. We cannot lose that 1 pool. So it's very important that we are planning effectively for that. And that ties me into another thing that is very important that the village and our residents need to be aware of, and that's our comprehensive plan. We have been having comprehensive plan meetings and discussions that are coming up now, and a comprehensive plan is an important document for our village that kind of sets the roadmap for the next 10, 20 years plus. The more input that we have from our businesses, from our residents, from everybody, gives us a better plan of what the village needs and wants. So it's very important that our residents, that our businesses partake in these discussions, that are active in this planning process, so that way we have a great plan going forward with this comprehensive plan. And again, it ties into things like Jefferson Pool in 8 years from now, development issues. The comprehensive plan also allows us the opportunity to plan financially, whether or not we are able to get grants or something moving forward for projects or development like that. So it's very important that the project is, or that the community is active in this planning phase that's going to be happening over the next few months. Again, we don't want another Lufkin Pool situation to happen. We want to make sure that we are planning ahead and protecting our assets to this community. The comprehensive plan and the meeting information is on the village website right now. The village website has recently been revamped. If you go to the community development section, and on the far left of community development section on the bottom, you'll see comprehensive plan. That will take you to what the plan is, what it's about, when the timeline is, and how you could be involved. There are currently surveys that you could take that help answer some of the questions, the needs and wants that you as a resident see in this process. There's also what we call do-it-yourself kits. So that way, community leaders or other organizations can hold one of these packets and take people into their have a meeting with residents and plan a do-it-yourself kit. And those get turned into our community development director, Mark McLaughlin. But the community needs to be aware that this comprehensive plan is in effect. These meetings are going to happen, and it's very important that you partake in this because it gives us as a village a roadmap for the next 20 to 25 years or more that can help us achieve a lot of things that we're looking to do here. So please take a look at that. Look at that information online under the community development section. Take the surveys, do the do-it-yourself kits, come to the meetings, input meetings, and let us know what you want as a community. Other than that, I just want to thank the village for having the awards presented today for the Villa Park 4th of July parade. Again, reiterate the great job that staff had taken in that role as well. It's something that moving forward we can expand upon and make it an even better parade moving forward. And thanks to the Villa Park VFW for putting on another great parade. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Trustee Kozar.
No report tonight.
Okay. Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. I want to remind everybody, August 1st is National Night Out from 6 to 8:30 at the Prairie Path Pavilion, I think is where that's being held by the Historical Museum. I know 5:30 to 8, okay. I think on social media we might want to change that then because it says 6 to 8:30. So 5:30 to 8, thank you for that correction. I know my family looks forward to that every year, so thank you for hosting that. Congratulations to the Mariners on a great 2023 swim season. We finished off that season on Saturday night with the with A conference and our picnic that got rained out. Thank you to Sue at Parks and Rec for letting us come in last minute and use the gym there so that we weren't rained on while we celebrated. We had new coaches. We have incredibly wonderful parent volunteers, and we just can't make that happen without them. So thank you very much. Like Trustee Patrick mentioned, it's really important for everybody to participate in that comprehensive plan. That goal is to have at least 1,000 residents participate. I don't think that that's a hard goal to meet. We'd like to see more than 1,000, of course, but really get involved so that you can have your voice heard and tell us what you want to have in the future. And I also want to kind of touch on the electric aggregation program. I'm proud of the board's decision to offer that program to our residents, but what I'm not proud of is how that was rolled out and communicated to our residents. And I thought that when we rolled out that the garbage program and the recycling bin program, I thought that that really helped when we kind of planned ahead and we pushed all of that information out. Sure, there were some people who might not have gotten that information, but there were enough neighbors and people who kind of could help other people along. In the future, I'd like to see a lot more planning by the village to push that out well in advance, just so that there's a lot less confusion. And also, August 5th, we have coffee with the board, so we hope to see you there.
Okay, wait. Trustee Kumar.
Just one thing, to piggyback off the comprehensive plan, since we are having the comprehensive plan push at this point, let's start with that and make sure that's pushed out properly to the residents. 6 weeks of intensive push on social media so that people all get it, tell their neighbors. Everybody please share that with your friends, family, whoever is in town, so that we get as much input as a statistician. The more unbiased and the more input we get, the much better our information is going to be, and the decisions that we base on that information are going to be. So please get out there, fill out those surveys. I'm going to start now, so start whoever's out there along with me, and that's what that's all I have to say for today.
Thank you. Trustee Corkery.
Just one quick thing that, once again, the Summer Shakespeare is this coming weekend, 7 p.m. This Friday and Saturday, and then next Friday and Saturday as well. We'll be presenting Camp Stormy Seas, an original musical based off The Tempest, and looking forward to watching it. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Okay, move on to the village president's report. Trustee Alfano said Saturday, August 5th will be coffee with the board, 9 o'clock up here in the boardroom. So it's an opportunity for everyone to come out in kind of an informal way of giving us your ideas. Manager Harline and myself, we met last Tuesday with our representative, Diane Blair Sherlock, along with the other managers and mayors that are in her district. Very good meeting. She's done a real lot in 1 year that she's been elected. She's done a lot for the village. She found money that we had coming to us that everybody had kind of forgot about, which was really nice. But she's really pushing for her district, and particularly in Villa Park. So I'd like to thank the representative for that. I'd also like to congratulate Trustee Kumar's daughter. Last week she had her, I would say a dance recital, but it's
Our engagement.
yeah, I couldn't pronounce that one, but it was an excellent performance, and I don't know how she remembered all of the dance moves. It was a long show, and she did a great job. But congratulations to your daughter. She did a great job. And with that, we'll move on to the village manager's report.
Just a couple things. First of all, ask for a report back on the School District 45 Maintenance and Facility Use Agreement. I'm not prepared to sign it yet. We have sort of run into I wouldn't say it a roadblock, but need to get a better definition of what the access that the village will get to courts. Continue to have conversations with Dr. Palmisano, and this is the one ask we kind of had of it, and it's a little disappointing that after we have done. I mean, it's a good relationship, so I don't want to say anything to get people upset, but we've done our part. The Parks and Rec Department has kept the fields. They've done, and then here it comes time to do this, and then there's a little balk. And I think mostly it has to do with redefining what we've always done and seeing if we can continue to do what we've always done. I would hate to see us go backwards after we had put ourselves out and worked on the fields on their grounds. But I mean, the relationship between between the people, I think, is better. This will have a lot to do with how that continues. They are going to be on a separate related topic. The school district is going to be working with our police department and looking at potential SRO candidates, even as we are still trying to work out the last details between Ms. Wolf on our side and Matt Gardner on their side in terms of the SRO intergovernmental agreement. So that's progressing. I would also say, so I appreciate the comments about social media. I would encourage, and I'll talk to NIMAC to see if they can help us with some of the advertising of the program. I encourage you guys to, since you are, I assume, follow the village page to, share that. There are some social media sites that will not let the village put stuff out there, so we can put stuff out there. There are some places you might be able to get this information that we cannot. So I encourage you guys to share widely the posts from the village, because I think, again, the comments, I think you guys did a bold and kind of brave thing to go for the 100% green energy, and we could have sent something out. I think it could have been effective. Depending on how much we wanted to spend to do that, I mean, putting in our website, sending out social media posts are effective, but there's a cooperative help in sending that out to other additional users is going to help that message get farther first. We have talked to Mr. De La Rosa. He was going to bring me back language in a couple of different languages. What he's asking is to put the directions on how to access different languages in the YouTube. And YouTube, there's a drop-down menu, and you can get a scroll of a different language. They have a number of different languages available. My point to him was it would probably make sense if we want to put that in Spanish, and if he could translate that for me so that we could have that on the website in Spanish. And he brought me that today. He also brought it in Urdu, but I'm going to see if we can get that electronically, because I don't know that we can
You
Yeah.
can.
Well,
You can get the script in Urdu and everything electronically.
no, I understand. He
Yeah.
he gave it to me on a piece of paper.
Oh, no. You will have to get that
Really know what to,
electronically.
I
Yes.
apologize, I don't. So we'll keep working with him to try and get those instructions on the site where you go to get the YouTube videos, which is what I understand that he wants to do, so that more people know how to access the other languages that you can get to in any YouTube video, which is how our meetings are out there. So, all right. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that, we'll go to executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C1 regarding the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, and pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C6 for the setting of a price for sale or lease of property owned by the public body. Do we have a motion for executive session?
We first have a motion that.
To talk about something in executive session.
That's what the second one was.
Okay.
Was what trustee Patrick had requested, or trustee Kozar had requested. Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Yeah, our village attorney added that for me. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so the motion that was presented by President Couzone includes that additional item as discussed earlier in the meeting, so we can discuss setting the price for the sale of the public body's property.
Okay, we have a motion on that for executive session. Trustee Kumar, you have a second. Trustee Corkery. Clerk Hronecki, please.
Okay, Trustee Patrick?
Yes.
Trustee Corkery?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
President Cozzone?
Yes. Okay, with that, we will go into executive session. We will adjourn our meeting out of executive session. So hope to see everyone, or as many as we can, on Coffee with the Board and at the Kiwanis concert on Wednesday. So have a good week and stay cool this week. Thank you.
We need to do some integrated marking, yeah.
You know, like, it just makes sense to, like, educate.
Agreements that address that just wouldn't be consideration for an agreement.
Because not everybody's tuning.
Protesting.
Nobody's tuning,
There are a lot of people that do.
Technically, no.
2
You
o'clock
could
in the morning, because I'll get
refuse
emails
to
at
protest, and that's consideration.
Why are you emailing me?
You want to.
They're like, the kid finally.
Are we talking about our situation here, or just in general?
Kids.
Our situation.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
so you're
And I just figured while they're all sitting down, we can get through some of this, but
watch something with like a, you know.
Well, people watch at.
I guess what I haven't wrapped my head around.
Like as I said, I finished this, I've been
If I say
putting it
to
out,
you,
to
all right,
people
I'll
as
give you
they
X
ask.
amount of dollars.
People are emailing me
If you
and
want to
texting me at all odd times, because that's when they have the time.
That is when they have the time.
Yeah.
Say, no, I don't want to voluntarily resign. I say, okay, no problem. I just want to give you that.
Awesome.
Yes.
Look forward. Let's get it out there now.
I mean, I don't think the electricity thing was done.
But they're not gonna like knock on my door and be like, hey, what is this? What is this comprehensive plan? Is it legit?
If there's a termination preceding the option. to
Yeah,
resign.
because that would be a mess if we got 3 people answering a survey. That's, we should.
Where you say, okay,
It wouldn't be really such statistically violent. But I need to get something to drink from my car, so I'm going there. So I
So
that
then-
fact is out there.
so I think that's the catch in our point.
Nice.
On the back, and he says, well, yes, got this
What I'm gonna do when people come to me with the electricity bill is
voluntary resign. However,
When they
as soon as I did that, they eliminated my position. And
I only
really,
did that because they told me my position was being eliminated.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So this may not apply in every situation, but in this situation, that's what
Yes.
you're saying, how
The
it would
facts
apply.
of this, yeah.
So if we were just simply saying to them, listen, we think we can find somebody that does a better job than you, or we don't like the job you're doing, whatever it is.
But there
However,
wasn't
we'll
a
give you.
date certain where we're gonna make a change. There's a date certain you're gonna make, the village is gonna make a change.
Gonna pull it, but if they were gonna keep that position and then just hire somebody else, we might have a argument to say, if we give you some sort of severance, you're not gonna collect unemployment. But that's, are you following me?
Yeah, but you can't if there's the threat of the loss of the job. If there's no threat regarding the loss of the job, or someone pleading voluntarily resign, you can.
So it
have
can't be either or. We give you X amount of dollars, but we're gonna lose the position.
Right.
Let me marinate that while we're walking in.
Okay.
Thank you.
But you found it, so that is the section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just want to throw it on your radar before I forget. The question that I had was regarding eminent domain. Can a municipality like the village utilize eminent domain for, let's say, the District 45 baseball fields? Can they utilize it on another entity like that? And the reason why I'm saying that, though, is how, not just I know eminent domain, you need a reason as to why the village needs that.
But there's a lot of loose reasons why one would need that.
Well, I'm thinking development. I mean, if we own those baseball fields, all right, all the way to Madison Road, because the Iowa Community Center is going to be gone. I mean, does the school actually need those? You could develop that, and then all the way through the new development to the train tracks. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. A lot of municipalities are built around their metro, or at least their downtowns.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So essentially, if we were to kind of do that kind of acquisition, we could put in place a whole development for that whole metro area. And again, this is just down, I don't, what, that's what I mean, but you see what I'm saying? I mean,
I totally see what you're saying.
I mean, and we own the street that connects from Ardmore to Jefferson Pool. But if we're gonna move the pool, that's what the plan is, to move the pool to the Iowa Bricks and New Rec Center, then that land is ours as well, and it just all opened up, and I don't see why we can't try to develop it or zone it differently, so that way we have people building businesses or buildings right on the Longmont Metro. I don't know, so it's down the road, but I wanted to just see what you thought about that before I forgot about it. It's a great run. It's great outside box, too. I didn't know